Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of GaysideStories with Trillificent, all LGBT all the time. This week I am so very excited because I have one of my closest friends on the show. You've heard me talk about her since the beginning. She is, well, can you have two yins to your yang?
I feel like you can.
Okay, so you're the other yin to my yang, and Nikki's the other one. Anyway, I have my bestie on the show with me. It's Bre. Please say hello to the people and introduce yourself and all those good things.
Hello to the people. I am so excited to be here. I am a day one fan of the show.
Woo!
I just love the way the
And a
show has grown.
co-producer,
You know, I
a
didn't want to give
friend,
myself
and a
that label,
confidant,
but if you're going to give it to me.
a manager damn near, like everything. When I say down in the trenches, she has been down in the trenches with me with this podcast.
And I'm
And it's
so
only right.
excited to be here. I feel like now is a great time. I was kind of nervous about being on the podcast because like this is your baby and I've heard like all of your other guests. I ain't want to fuck it up, you know.
Why does everyone say that?
I mean, it's really good. It's laid out well. I could talk about this podcast all day. But I didn't want to like come up here and be like, "It's Bre, y'all. Hey, you know." But
What's up?
I'm Bre. I'm on Twitter as at underscore MRS Bre. So that's at underscore Mrs. Bre. I'm on Instagram as Bretastical. I wish I could say I had something to plug right now, but right now life has got me in the trenches. So
Hey.
all you got is me and cute pictures of my children. Actually, Trillificent is actually my son's godfather, so you get lots of cute pictures of his godson. And actually, my daughter is his goddaughter too. You probably didn't know that till just right now, but here we are.
No, I claim JD.
Yes.
I'm down with J
So
and J,
J and
and I take
J.
it serious. So to tell y'all how either I don't know anything, or I was just on the path of confusion, or I was taking things too serious. When Bre asked me to be Jameson's godfather, I was like, okay, good. I'm down for this. This is a good decision. I feel good about it. And I asked her, I said, so what do we have to do? Like, are you going to send me documents to sign? Like, how does this work? And she was like, nigga, what? She was like, it's just like in a church. I was like, bitch, what the fuck? Listen, I was ready to sign it, dot the I, cross the T. I was ready to say my life is linked with this child in the case of shit. And she was like laughing, like, nigga, what the fuck? So I take it very serious. I'm Team Jameson, Team Jaden all day. Those are maturing.
And we are so thankful for you. They call you Uncle Curtis, and well,
Like
Jameson really
typical black.
like everybody's your uncle, right? But I feel like Godfather Curtis was a little too formal, so
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
it is. And the kids love you so much, and I love you so much. Again, I'm excited to be on the show. Excited to kind of get to know your listeners. Y'all, please hit me up if you see me on the show because a lot of people that you've had on the show, I've ended up following, and they probably like, "Who is this bitch?" But it's because I heard you on the show, and I was like, "Oh man, they're interesting," so I want to follow them.
Yay. Well, with that being said, let's get started.
All right.
So, first up, the school and life segment. I have 3 school and lives this week. So, first up, this is a real quick shout out to 2 podcasts that I listened to in the past week. They both were talking about sexual assault, specifically from the gay male perspective. So, the episode of the podcast, A Gay and a Non-Gay, it's called #MeToo. And that's a very short podcast. I want to say it's like 11 minutes. It's one of those kind of podcasts. The other podcast is The Outline with Kevin Dwayne. Now, you've heard Kevin on this show, and if you fuck with me, then you've heard me on his show. His latest episode, The Audacity of These Niggas, he had some powerful things to say. I want to extend my love, my I don't even know what I want to say here. I just want to extend, give Kevin a hug. The story that he told about his bout with sexual assault was it caught me off guard, I guess, because I wasn't expecting that. And so to hear that on his podcast and then hear them talking about it on another podcast, it made me realize that sexual assault happening to gay men is not something that I've given a lot of thought. And I guess maybe that's some kind of privilege that I have, that I haven't given it any thought because I guess I haven't had to. Because here I am, big black, like dark skinned man, I've over 250 pounds. I've
Right.
never really been in a situation where I felt like I had been assaulted or someone was trying to force themselves on me or anything like that.
Mhm.
But that is something that we cannot forget, that happens a lot. Men are sexually assaulted a lot. Not even men. I mean, I use this as an example because it was two gay stories, but LGBT people are sexually assaulted a lot, And I'm not saying it rivals what the hashtag and what women have been facing and all the allegations that have been coming out against celebrities. I'm just saying that there's something over there as well. It's not isolated to any one group, which is unfortunate. But so anyway, take a listen to those two podcasts, those particular episodes, and hopefully you guys will like those podcasts and subscribe. Tell them I sent you. My next school in life is reviews and ratings on iTunes. Now, I forget to check this regularly because in case anyone doesn't know, when we upload our podcast to Apple Podcasts, they don't give us anything. Like, they don't tell you how many listens you get. They don't tell you how many subscribers you get. They don't tell you when you get a rating or a review. It's basically, we took it and that's it. And you don't get anything from Apple. So you have to physically go and search for your own podcast to see if you got any ratings or reviews. So I saw that I had gotten a couple new ones. And the last one, I wanted to actually read it on the show. I'm not going to promise to do this because number one, I don't know if y'all going to give me the ratings and reviews. And number
Of
one,
course they
two,
will.
sorry. And number two, I don't know if I'm going to remember to go and check them. So the review is from Unique107. And they said, absolutely enjoy listening to this podcast. The topics are truly engaging. Please keep up the wonderful work. It's truly a pleasure. Now,
Wow.
anyone who knows me knows how uncomfortable that just made me to read that because I have
You better
issues. I have
praise
demons.
yourself
Yeah,
because the
I'm
podcast
not
is
very
that
good.
good and you're not good at that. So I'll just take over for you and
Oh,
say
girl.
that the podcast is amazing. I'm not surprised that review was left. I feel like, you are reaching an audience and your format is so easy to follow and, your guests are interesting. It's not like I'm not surprised that you got that review at all.
Well, thank you for that. And shout out to you, Unique107. My last school in life is, remember, I want to say maybe last week or the week before, my school in life was the gay movies that I had been watching. I've still been watching all these gay ass movies, but there were two that stuck out to me. There was one called Before the Fall, and it billed itself as a reimagining of Pride and Prejudice. Now, anyone who knows me, which is probably no one, knows that I stand for Pride and Prejudice. Like the book, the old BBC movie with Colin Firth, the new movie with Keira Knightley. Like, I stand for Pride and Prejudice. So when I saw this on my Amazon as I was scrolling through movies, immediately that caught my eye. I watched the movie. It's a solid movie. I don't know if it's a good movie. And from a nerdy perspective, the changes that they made in the core characters, I didn't really care for because they took the even split of the problems that both characters had and they kind of dumped it all on one character and made the other one like a doe in the headlights.
Mhm.
So I didn't care too much for that. But overall, if I take those elements out, it's not a bad movie. And there was an insufferable cishet white woman, and they were snatching her ball because she kept saying ignorant stuff. So I appreciated that at least. The other movie was a movie called Alex and Ali, and this movie almost caught me in my feels because it was a documentary about a man. It was a white American man and a man in, I want to say, Iran. And they met in the 60s when the white man was there for like Greenpeace or something like that. Then the country had a civil war and they pretty much kicked out all the immigrants or, people there on work visas or whatever the case may be. And so these two men, they were together when they were in the same country. They hadn't been able to be together for 35 years.
Oh my God.
And they kept what they, quote unquote, love, their relationship. They kept it alive through phone calls, emails, and video calls and texts, I guess. And so finally, the white man, his nephew, I think, was the one documenting everything, and finally somehow convinced them, it's time for us to be together, blah blah blah. Because it was still difficult to get out of Iran. I wanted to say it's Iran. Hopefully that's what it was. So they agreed to meet in Turkey, and it was their first time seeing each other in 35 years. And granted, they were young, but they weren't young. So the white man is like damn near 70.
Damn. Oh, that would hit me right in the heart.
I'm not sure how old the Iranian man was because they said he was younger, but they never really confirmed how much younger, or I just missed it because I'm trash. So they seen each other for the first time in 35 years, and the whole plan was for them to find a way to get him out of Iran, and they be together and spend the rest of their lives together after keeping this romance alive for 35 years. What happened was the Iranian man, he brought some documentation with him that he shouldn't have, and it was seized. They let him go through, but they took his stuff for investigation. They consulted a lawyer because he wasn't supposed to bring anything. He wasn't supposed to do anything to jeopardize him being able to get back into his country. He brought like either an actual travel visa or an application for a travel visa. They thought he had brought some, or maybe they said when they took his bag that he brought like anti-government propaganda and things of that nature. So they consulted a lawyer. The lawyer told them there's a 50-50 chance that they won't mess with you, or that they will snatch you and they will torture you. And that is it, like that's the risk that you take going back to your country. Obviously they were having issues with the normal ways to get him a visa to be able to go to like the United States or something. So then they have this dilemma, and it was kind of awkward between them because obviously, the one guy, he wants him to stay, and it's like, we'll figure something out from here, from Turkey, but don't go back. Well, the man decided to go back. Oh,
Lord.
And the worst of what was predicted came true. Like, it was so, you guys, because this guy, he has to be at least 60. And I can't even remember all of the stuff that they said I think they said they pulled off his fingernails and dug out one of his eyes and broke like 12 bones.
And I would have got so invested in that movie, honey. And when that would have been the end, I would have threw my TV away.
I was sitting here and you know what? I wasn't surprised because watching the movie and seeing his cues and everything, after 35 years, he was still struggling with his sexuality. And that was why he was hesitant on whether or not he wanted to leave. I don't remember if they said that he did that to sabotage it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's a theory. Anyway, and I think they said they like broke his legs and his arm. Like they really tortured him.
Did they kill him though?
He was in the hospital for a long time. I think I want to say 2 months. And the white guy, he was back home and wherever he lived, somewhere in California or whatever. And he was saying, after that incident, they weren't really talking the way that they used to.
I mean, for obvious reasons.
They kind of ended it saying that the man was in Iran saying that he was still holding that he's not gay.
Sis, really?
Yeah, it was a lot. Anyway, you guys know I find these movies and they be a lot. So check those out before the fall on Amazon Prime, but I think you have to rent it because I don't know. Whatever, you can find it. And Alex and Ali. So, guest, after that very long school and life, what's yours?
Well, I have a couple of school and lives, mainly to do with sexual assault, because it's just been such a big thing lately. I mean, it's always a
Yeah.
big thing. I mean, I am
Right.
a cis black woman. I'm very straight, mostly straight, I think. Um, but I'm really thinking, like, I guess today when, we decided I was going to be on the podcast, I was kind of thinking, like, I don't want to put myself into this. But I mean, of course, I've gotten sexually assaulted. I went to a black college. I'm black. I deal with black men, even white men. Like, I've gotten it from everywhere, but I don't think that I really thought about it. So when I was in college, I was really close and to this girl who was a lesbian. She was actually my best friend's roommate or suite mate, one of the two, right? So we went to a frat party. I'm not gonna say the frat because I feel like they've taken a lot of heat, and I'm not gonna put that on them. We went to a frat party. This frat has a reputation for being very lewd, very over sexual, humping air, etc. Now,
Mm-hmm.
my dad is one of those too. So my biological father is in that fraternity, so that too. But I'll never forget. I mean, her friend, our friend, she was out. She was a lesbian. She was kind of butch. She was kind of, like very. I don't know if you want to call it tomboyish. It was just who she was. She, wore jeans and polo shirts, wore cologne, all of that. Cute little thing, right? We get to the party
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's drinking, of course, and we're no more than 19 at this time. So I remember one of the guys in the fraternity kind of pushed up on me, but I was flirting with him. So I was like, it was super consensual. It was cool. I knew him outside. But then one of his friends came up that was also in the fraternity and started flirting with my friend that was a lesbian. Well, of course, she was like, that's not really my type of height. I'm here for the drinks.
Mm-hmm.
I just came because my friends. He basically pushed her up against the wall and like body rolled on her in this kind of way. But I remember he slipped his hand between her legs. It was supposed to be like, I guess if you were flirting with him and it was consensual, it would have been cool. It would have been like, oh, but she didn't want it. And I remember she got so upset about it. And me being 19, me not really understanding the idea of sexual assault, I told her, I'm like, I get it, you're upset, you're mad, but why are you at this party if that's not because you know what kind of reputation they have? Well, I'm trash for that.
Woo. Super
Super
problematic.
problematic. But again, I was 19 years old, kind of not really understanding the intersections of, if you know what? No, I'm not gonna give myself. If somebody don't want you to fucking touch them, you shouldn't put your hands on them in general. I think that I was so trying
Right.
to, oh, let's not make this a big thing. Everybody's having a good time, type thing. And she stopped talking to me after that for like a smooth month. And I will never forget what she told me. She said, "You are a straight woman. It's bad enough that it happens to you, but at least you know that somebody of your sexuality, not saying you want it, not saying if you were sexually assaulted you deserved it, but I am a lesbian, and I feel like there's another step in that, because not only are they violating my privacy and they're violating my personal space, they're also trying to make me straight. Like, I told you I was a lesbian, but you didn't want to believe it, or you felt like you could turn me or whatever." And she was like, "That's why I got so mad. It wasn't so much the touching or whatever. It was you really violated. I told you this wasn't what I was into." And I'm still really close to her to this day. And I stop myself whenever I hear a story of sexual assault. I don't question the victim. I don't. Because I remember when I did it that one time, and I remember how mad it made her, and I remember how damn, it really made me think, like, okay, this is not cool. Like, if they don't want to be touched, if they don't want to, like, there's nothing that would make that okay. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that anybody could say or do that would make that okay. If they weren't cool with it, they were just not cool with it. And it wasn't right. So that's my first school in life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so much victim blaming on Twitter, on Facebook, or, well, why did they, like with the whole Weinstein thing, or Weinstein, how the fuck? Well, why would they go anywhere alone with them? Or why didn't they just say no at the time? Like, all these questions that you like asking somebody after the fact, I'm sure that they ask themselves these same questions. Like, I don't get, this is why
Mm-hmm.
rape culture keeps going on and on and on, because it's not like, I feel like rapists and men and women who commit sexual assault feel like they have this safe haven, like this cover, because someone's always going to question the victim. It's never going to be like, oh, he did it, that nigga did it. you know it's always going to be some other
Yeah.
layer of, well, okay, he did it, but what was she wearing? What did she say to him before? Like, I don't understand why, and I get this is getting into my second school in life, consent. Like, why is consent such a hard thing to understand? I don't I don't get it. I don't, and I guess I just been thinking about that, just watching some of the reactions on Twitter with all of this stuff coming out. And as a person who has been sexually assaulted and was actually very public about being sexually assaulted after the fact, when I felt like, you know what, I'm not gonna let this dude do this to somebody else. I had so many people question me. I'm like, why you got the nerve to question me when he's the one doing wrong? There were other women corroborating my story, and y'all still had questions for me. But that's pretty much it. I don't watch them sad movies. I ain't built like you. I can't do that. Cause I'd be a puddle.
Well, we're gonna move right along. I feel like your schooling life might have actually been better suited for the come quick segment, so we're gonna move along
Oh, okay.
to the come quick segment.
I'm gonna come, sir.
Oh yeah. So I have two things this week. The first is I did a poll. Y'all know how I do my Twitter polls. And the poll was for gays specifically. Do you kiss your platonic friends on the mouth when you greet or say goodbye to them? The reason why I asked this is because I was watching a lot of foreign LGBT movies. And, their culture in Europe is just much different than it is here. So the answers were sure and bitch, what the fuck?
Sorry.
So 22% said sure, and an overwhelming 78% said, bitch, what the fuck? I am not that kind of gay. I don't have any platonic friends that we kiss when I mean, to be honest, I barely hug my friends, so.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, well, we hug, but every time we see each other, it's been a while since we've seen each other. You
I've
have
gotten
gotten
better.
better.
Yeah, I've
Um,
gotten better. Because at first I was like,
I
oh,
felt it
don't
in your
touch me.
body.
I
It's all
know.
good though.
I
But
know.
I think maybe it's a cultural thing too, because we're talking about like, French or, kind of European people are very
Right.
kissy, very
Right, right.
open, very huggy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a whole different culture over there. Like it's just different. So, but in America, 78% of y'all who took this poll said hell to the no. So the next thing I had is something that I saw in one of these movies, and there was a scene where there were two guys walking down, two friends, and one of them had met a guy, and the other was listing off qualities about what the guy may have had to explain why the friend had not introduced his
Hmm.
friend to his, boyfriend. And he was listing stuff off, and one of them was he does he not have a relationship with his
Hmm.
family? And I said, oh, so I had a question that I wanted to pose, and we can talk about real quick. And that is, in dating situations, is it a deal breaker if a person has a bad or no relationship with their family? Now, the other reason why I had this question is because if you've listened to this show long enough, you know that I do not have much of a relationship with my family. So when I heard that, immediately it stuck out. But I'm curious about your thoughts. How do you
I,
feel
I
about
I
it?
really don't want to say that's a deal breaker for me. I know that families can be toxic. I am in no way, just because somebody birthed you
Hmm.
or provided the sperm for you to be birthed does not mean that they truly care about you or like you. I will say that. Not love you, because a lot of people claim to love you because they have to love you, but a lot of people's parents don't like them. And I don't feel like you should have to fake that relationship if it ain't there. Hell, I more power to people, because it takes a strong person to be like, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with this. I feel like that's stronger than just staying in the situation and kind of being like, my parents are my parents type thing. Um, I don't, that doesn't have bearing when I'm dating somebody, because I feel like for me to know that about them, I'm gonna get some kind of backstory. It's not just gonna be like, oh, I don't fuck with them. It's going to be, there's gonna be a deep reason why, and that might make me, if you don't fuck with them, I don't fuck with them. I'm just that type of person. So it wouldn't make a big
Right.
deal to me. Now, I say that, but on the flip side, I have dated people well, I've dated men who did not have good relationships with their families, and it ended up coming out in our relationship. But I feel like that requires therapy. I don't think that them having some kind of magical great relationship with their family as it stands now would have kind of gone around that. I just think issues are issues. And, those things,
Right.
when your family hurts you, that stays with you. That's not something that goes away. And sometimes it does come out in the wash and other things, but I feel like that's something that you could get hope for. Something that, if you and your partner on terms like that, maybe they can help you through if they love you like that or whatever. So, no, it's not a deal breaker for me.
I think I agree. I think it depends on the circumstances, and as you said, because knowing the backstory will hopefully give you some inclination on whether or
Right.
not it's going to be something that comes up in your relationship. And as a person who is in this predicament, I wouldn't want someone to say, "Oh, you don't talk to your mama, well, we can't date," because I have a lot of times, especially amongst black people, we don't give allowances for people having different
Definitely
relationships with
not.
their families. We automatically assume that I love my mama to death and I do anything for her. So everybody, because that's your mama, and how I feel about my mama must be the way you feel about your mama. But me and my mama don't
And
have the
if we
same
keep it in
relationship you and your
100%
mama have.
funky, just because somebody says they have a good relationship with their mother does not mean that relationship is healthy. Because I have dated a guy who basically his
Right.
mother was his girlfriend, damn near. Like it was a creepy relationship. Like it's like
Oh
at
boy.
first it's like, oh, I love my mom. My mom is my best friend and all of this. But then I realized his mother thought I was trying to replace her. That's just not like I feel like it could go either way. It's really just depends on the situation. They say they got a
Right.
good relationship, with their mama, and he cheating on you, his mama covering up for him. So they do have a good
They do
relationship.
have a good
You don't
relationship.
have a good
You don't have a good
relationship. His mama
relationship,
ain't shit. Yeah.
but
So
they do. Shit, they thick as
and
thieves.
yeah, I
Okay.
feel like that could go either way. I feel like mothers and sons especially are very a touchy thing. A very touchy thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a whole different
Invite me
episode.
back for that. I got
So
a story.
let's move
Lit.
on. So we're gonna move on to the main topic. This week we're going to have another fun BuzzFeed episode.
Yay. I'm ready.
So this article says, "How popular are your relationship opinions?" And actually, I think that is a good segue from the last come quick question that I had. So let's go. First question says, you've gone on 5 dates with someone and you plan on going on more. Would you say the two of you are talking, seeing each other, dating, in a relationship, or it really depends on if we're hooking up or have had full on sex? So what would you say, Bre?
What did you say? No, I want to hear you say. What did you say first?
I said that's seeing each other.
Okay, I agree. I said that seeing each other because nothing else makes
Right.
sense
I
to
feel like
me.
after
Like
three
talking
dates.
is just like that. Like, and you're going on more. You're more than
Yeah.
talking because talking is
Well,
just
we'll
to
say
me.
hold that
But we'll
thought
get into
because
that.
we'll get there.
Yeah,
Okay, so we agree, seeing each
but
other.
yes,
All
seeing
right.
each other.
What does it mean if you say you're talking to someone, quote unquote?
This is a can of worms.
Okay, you've texted a few times, you hang out with them here and there, you're hooking up, but not having full on sex yet. You're having sex with them, you hang out with them regularly, but it's very casual. It's basically the same thing as seeing, quote unquote, and dating, quote unquote. I don't know why there are different terms.
Um,
So I'm not, obviously the last answer is out because there's levels to the shit, and that's just, it is what it is. All right, it's levels to the shit.
Several levels.
But to me, talking to someone,
I just feel like
I feel like this is a range
I can
because
agree.
it could be we've only texted a couple of, or we text, or it could be. I don't think it's anything sexual
Yeah,
though.
but I'm like
I don't think it's
that's where
haphazard
I draw
sex.
the hard
Not
line.
not for me.
I agree with you. I'm in
Right.
between you. Hang out with them here and there, and you texted them a few times because I feel like you're right. There are levels to this. But honey, if I'm just talking to somebody, they have not seen my vagina in any kind of circumstances. Number one. Number two,
Right.
this must have been some white people who wrote this because it said you're hooking up but not having full on sex yet. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like hooking up ain't a black thing anyway because I feel like If we going, honey, we going all the way. I feel like, maybe heavy petting, even I wouldn't call that talking. But it's such a weird thing because
Yeah.
a girl, or a guy, whoever will pop up and be like, oh, I used to talk to him. Well, what does that mean? Because that could have meant you just
Right.
exchanged phone numbers and y'all used to text back and forth, or it could have mean that to you that y'all was, in it to win it for a minute. So,
I feel like, well, let me preface it. For me, I think it's those things, but with
oh
intention.
yeah, okay,
I think that's a very specific thing to keep in mind because a lot of times we try to downplay what talking to someone means because if it didn't work out or if you want to be shady, you can just say, "Oh, we used to talk," and to you that or what you're trying to put out there is it wasn't a big deal. But I feel like when you're talking to someone, it's with intention.
yes.
Now, what the intention is, whether it's purely physical or more, that's different. So, next up, it says, what does it mean if you say you're seeing someone? But whatever. The choices are you're just having sex with them, you've hung out with them casually a few times, you've gone on a few dates with them, you're basically in an exclusive relationship, you just haven't had, quote unquote, the talk yet. It's basically the same thing as talking and dating. I don't know why there are different terms. I feel like we can skip this one because we already defined what we think seeing someone means.
Well, before we do skip this one, I do want to say this. I would say my answer to this one is yeah, it's between you've gone on a few dates and you're basically in an exclusive relationship. Because the only reason I could see saying this, like, oh, I'm seeing someone, is if I was talking to some old work that didn't
Right.
make the cut. And I'm like, I'm seeing somebody right now. This ain't gonna be. This is me and you are not where it's at.
I mean, for the terms, we're kind of adapting to the terms because I would never actually say out of my mouth, I'm seeing someone. I would say
Yeah.
I'm dating someone. So that actually
Yeah.
is
So
the
I feel
next
like they're
one.
pretty interchangeable.
Okay, well, the next one says, what does it mean if you're dating someone? And the answers are you've been out to drinks and dinner with them, you're hooking up but not having full on sex. Come on, copy and paste on multiple motherfucking questions.
Listen.
You're having sex with them, you're to the point where you can comfortably sit around and hang out on the couch with no serious plans. You are exclusively seeing each other. It's basically the same thing, blah, 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 blah. If I say I'm dating someone, then to me that's interchangeable with relationship. Like I mean, because I'm not gonna say I'm
Um,
in a relationship with, so I'm gonna say, well, no, I take that back. I could say I'm dating some. I feel like because dating could be either exclusive or it could be all the above, but
right.
we're not exclusive.
And see, that's where I have
It's a
well,
range.
I
It's a
agree more
range.
on that side. There is a range, but when I personally say I am dating someone, that means we've been out on several dates, but we have not, we may have done the do, but we haven't had that conversation like, oh, so what's up? What's
Right. We're
up?
not in a
Are we gonna
relationship. You're
dating?
not in a relationship.
Right. Like we're dating. But then when I date multiple people. So I may be dating two guys. Like my dance card is full type
Right.
deal. But
It's not the serious relationship. Yeah,
right, it's not to me.
I agree. All right. When do you decide to tell someone you love them for the first time? Ugh. In this economy, girl, please. Only once you've kissed for the first time. Only after
Mhm.
your significant other has said it to you, petty. Only after you're in an exclusive, committed relationship. As soon as you feel it, whether you're in a relationship or not, girl. While you're having
Mhm.
sex for the first time, girl. Or after, I guess. I don't know. I play it by ear. I say I don't know. I play it by ear. Because this
I'm
is.
gonna go ahead and say, um, I'm maybe not having sex the first time, but I have a system. What I do is if I'm in the throes of romance or whatever you said, that doesn't count.
Come on, throes of
For
romance.
real. If you fucking them and it's getting good to you, or whatever, and you thought I love you out, that's kind of where you gauge. Like they gonna say it back. They gonna say it back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they don't say it back, then it's cool. You could just be like, you know what? We were fucking. I was just trying to say whatever to keep you hyped up, right?
Oh, sis,
Right.
that's not my ministry.
I mean, straight men are very different characters.
This is
So
actual and factual. I'd say play it by ear because I don't know. Every relationship is different, so it's hard to
you're
have a
right.
set system.
Can I pick like three? I'm gonna say while you're having sex, That's the tester. I'm also going to say only after they said it to you. And then I'm also going to say, I don't know, I'll play it by ear.
Girl, bye.
I've selected all three. Well, I don't like
You
saying
might
it
as well
first
not.
because
The last one is basically the same as the other two. Like, you playing it by ear, whether you decide it's when you have sex for the first time or after they said it to you. You're playing it by ear. So play
yeah.
it by ear. I think that's a
I think
catch-all answer. We both,
yeah, that's a catch-all. Play it by ear, but don't say it first though.
girl. Would you ever spy on your significant other's text messages, email, etc.? Yes, and I'm not proud of it, but I do it all the time. Maybe, but only if I had something to be suspicious about. Maybe, but only if their phone or computer was out in the open and I didn't have to do any actual snooping. I mean, if you make okay. No,
Right.
I would never go through their personal things.
My answer is no. I would never go their personal things.
Girl.
Okay, that's the answer I put on paper. Now the real answer
When
is
I tell
hell
you,
yes.
you
I'm
dusted
going
that off
for
and
it.
tried it and tried it and tried it again. You tried that.
That's my professional answer I put on my resume. But my real answer is
Wow.
hell the fuck yes. I feel like I subscribe to this whole, oh no, their things are their things. I don't go through the phone for so long that when I had doubts, and my intuition was telling me something's off and I needed to confirm it. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. That's terrible. But every time I've had doubts and my intuition pushed me that way, I just needed solid proof. So, and I'm
Hmm.
not a snooper in the fact that I'm going to go up through your back, behind your back. I'm pretty much, you don't need to go through a phone or an email to figure out what it is. If you ask them about it and you say, can I see? And they acted crazy about it, you already know your answer.
That's true. I
So is it snooping if you tell the nigga you about to go through their shit?
no, I feel like that's a declaration.
All right, then. So I declare that I'm going through your shit,
Um, pass because
sir.
this is.
Bring it back.
I mean, because you have to put yourself in the mindset of being in a relationship, and that makes my skin crawl. Like, that makes my booty itch, and not in a good way. Like, ugh.
You know what? You're right because there is this fire that creeps up from your back and it rises up your neck when you feel like something ain't right. When you feel like your significant
Hmm.
other is lying to you, that is the worst feeling in the world. And even though I
Hmm.
want to be mature and say, "Oh, I never go through their personal things," it's not the truth. I'm a grown ass woman. I'm not trying to be wasting time with nobody who ain't really about me. And some
That's
people will
true.
tell you anything, and sometimes you just need to see it to set yourself free.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no because I feel like I'm direct enough in my dealings that if I was in a relationship and I felt like something wasn't right, then that's gonna get handled, and it's not gonna be a lingering thing where I'm feeling insecure or I'm feeling like something's not right. My niggy sense is telling me there's something going on. I'm not
Okay,
going to be living with that, so I'm going to do my best to nip that in the bud
so
quickly.
let
And
me
if I
stop you
don't,
there and let me ask you this.
all
So
right,
say that, okay,
question.
you're direct, yes. You're direct in your questioning to your significant other. And they say,
Yeah.
they get defensive. Why are you acting like that? Why you want to know that? What does that make you do?
I'm gonna tell their ass exactly why. Hell, I would have already told them why. Being like, this is how I'm feeling, and this is why. Now you come with the real, because I don't want to have to bust your ass with a bag of nickels if you sitting up here lying to me and I find out on the back end.
Well,
Yeah, so I'm gonna say no. I'm like, I would just break up. Like, this is the read. I would just break up. Like, if you be like, why you want to go through my motherfucking, you know what? Bye.
and I ain't built like that. I gotta know why I
Oh,
be.
you know, I am definitely built like
And
that. Okay,
I feel like that's where we are yin and yang.
fundamentally different, but I know how to speak your language, I
Yes,
guess.
absolutely.
I don't understand it fully. I understand it enough to help you. Well, you know what? That's giving myself a lie because I could have been ruining your life all these years ago. I just don't
That's
know it.
very
So
true.
neither do I.
Oh my gosh. And I just be like, yeah, yes, you are absolutely right. You could have been ruining my
Listen,
life.
let me tell y'all the kind of friend I am. I'm the friend that friends hit up when something's going on and they want to get a read. because they'll tell me about it and then I'll start going off in the text, and
Mm,
then they'll take what I said and use it in their arguments. I'm that friend.
I have copied and pasted it many times.
Yeah.
But you are also the friend that you are the friend I call to drag me.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm an
I really
equal
need to hear
opportunity
you are,
dragger.
and it don't
So
matter. We've been friends. We've been friends for like what? Almost. I want to say almost 10 years now.
maybe like 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, something close to that. It's almost 10.
It's been a long ass
It has
time,
been a
y'all.
long ass time. But I feel like you're the friend that if I'm kind of like going back and forth on something and I need to make sure that I'm not bugging, you will tell me straight out. You don't sugarcoat it. Like, no, bitch, you need to
That's
stop.
true. I am definitely like, if you want somebody that's gonna tell you that whatever you saying is right and agree with you
You are
100%
not the
and not
friend for
challenge
that.
you, don't call me
you
because your ass gonna be upset.
you are not the confirmation friend. You are definitely not.
I am not, because you're gonna be mad as hell and I'm gonna hang up and go to bed. So know your friends, know who you can take what to.
Yeah.
Next up, it says, are you okay with your significant other watching porn while you're in a committed relationship? Yes, we watch together. Yep. I do it and they should feel free to do it too. Yes, but I don't ask and I don't want to know. No, I wouldn't be okay with it and would need to have an honest talk about it. No, that's basically cheating and would be a deal breaker for me. Nigga,
What?
okay, girl. I I'm just gonna say yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a huge
I don't
deal to
need these
me.
other qualifiers. It's just
You
yes.
know, I've had a
Maybe we'll
significant
watch it together. Maybe you'll watch it when you want to if I'm at work and you know, whatever. I don't, that's not a big deal to me.
I've had a significant other who like to send me clips or like, watch this. And I was cool with it. I think, I'm a naturally goofy person, so I don't want to watch together most of the time because it wouldn't be a sexy thing. It would be like me roasting the people who are doing it.
Can we talk about it? Because having sex with porn playing in the background is not as
It's
sexy as it sounds.
not.
It's not as
It's
fun as it
not.
sounds,
And I just be
especially with gay
laughing.
porn because they be doing the most. Well, I guess in porn in
Okay.
general, they be doing the most.
Confession, I honestly will watch when my search is ebony lesbians. I know. Because I feel like it's the most realistic of everything. I'm not really here to see, 35 minutes of dick sucking. That doesn't do much for me. Um,
Listen, get lockjaw out of my face.
Listen,
I don't
I
need
don't
that.
need that. And I feel like I just need, oh,
Unless maybe it's multiple people coming in.
I
Maybe.
don't even like that.
Maybe. I mean, but I fast forward through porn a lot. I'm like, there's certain things that I want to see. I don't need all this fluffing and all of these weird ass camera angles and y'all over here
Right.
laughing and I can see the microphone in the back and I can see this nigga wearing Jordans and a white t-shirt. I don't need all that.
No, I try to find
What are
porn
we
that's
talking about?
more suited towards women. Like now in my later, like I used to
Yeah.
be like a Wesley Pipes fan, and but I thought it was more funny than it was sexy. But if I'm really looking to like enjoy myself with it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go for probably maybe threesome that are like heavy lesbian, but threesome too. So there's a dick there. But I feel like the women care more about
Hmm.
what they doing, and it looks more realistic because I'm not trying to see, dry, sad sex in the porno. It be out there. It's out there. And people act like it's the best thing. But I guess being a
Oh.
woman, I know what's real. So if I'm seeing this
Yeah.
man digging this woman out and she making all kind of noise, but it don't look like nothing, I'm like, y'all lying. Both of y'all lying. Oh, ugly ass liars.
Well, I am team bisexual porn, so everybody can get it porn. Anyway, I don't know why we're still talking about porn. Let's
Let's
move
go
on.
on.
Would you move in with the girl? Would you move in with a significant other before you were engaged or married? Yuck. Yes, absolutely. Only if we have been together for a really long time. Only if my significant other promised we'd be engaged
Mm-mm.
soon. Only if I had no other housing option and it was the last resort. Come through homosexual. Only if my parents and family were okay with it. Nope, never.
Mm.
My answer is actually a hidden answer, and it is Whoopi Goldberg. I don't want nobody in my
Nigga,
house.
that is a mood. It's a
And that's just
lifestyle.
where I
It's a
am right now.
feeling.
Like, my ideal situation would be if a nigga was like, listen, I really like you. We've been dating. Let's be in a relationship. Let's do whatever, whatever. I'm going to be like, okay, let's move in together. No.
I feel like that's why I would
No.
backtrack. I
You maintain. I am here for a dual home
Can we get
relationship.
like
You
a
have yours,
duplex?
and I have mine. You know what? I wouldn't even be opposed if you lived next door, as long as you're just not in my space. You know what I mean? And we can have sleepovers. We can have little staycations, vacations. I can pack my things and come to your
Mm.
house. You can pack some of your things and come to mine. However, the common factor in this would be you have your house and I have mine.
I'm
That is the mood and wave I'm on. It probably sounds like, oh, that's a waste of money or whatever. My space and peace is very important to
right.
me. I don't mind paying for it. All right, I'm doing it already.
Listen.
Anyway, what would you do if all of your family or friends didn't like your significant other? Dump your significant other
Yes.
immediately. Try to change my significant other based on friends and family's critiques. Ooh. I would hear my family and friends out and see if what they're saying was reasonable. I wouldn't take my family friends' opinion too seriously. It's my happiness, not theirs.
I'm gonna say it's a tie between dump my significant other immediately and I'd hear them out and see what they were saying is
Yeah, that
reasonable.
would be
You
mine
have to
just
know
because
I have
I'm,
a nana.
yeah.
Nana don't play no fucking
Come
games.
on,
Number
praying
one.
grandmother.
My praying grandmother see through people before they even speak. So if my nana says that you are fucked up, I trust my nana over whatever your raggedy ass got to say. Like there is no like this. My grandmother is just she be summoning ancestors, reading people. Like she knows what she's talking about. Every time I've ever tried to go against, like, I love him. No, he's not what you think he is. He ended up being just what she thought he was.
Come
And
on,
my
Nana.
friends, I feel like I have a gift of discernment for the most part in everything but relationships.
That is
My
the damn
friends,
truth.
my friends are amazing. My friends always have my best interest at heart. I don't have to worry about that. So if they tell me, Bree, girl, I love you, but no, this ain't a good look, they wouldn't lead me wrong. I just trust them like that.
Yeah. I would definitely hear them out because like I could see if maybe I introduce my significant other and Juanita don't like them
Yeah, I can see that.
because
Juanita
yeah,
don't like no damn body.
she I don't even know she like us and we don't like you either, bitch. Just playing.
We love her so much. Love you,
Yeah,
Juanita.
I would say I would hear them out. I will say though, if you come to my home and my cat, if nigga cat don't like you, really don't like you, then I'm gonna be looking at you funny.
Cause cats, babies, and animals know. Cause my son is the same way. My daughter too. When she was little, shoot. Even now, my daughter's 11. My son is 2. My son just will not go near you. He won't speak to you. Curtis has literally seen this with certain people. If he
Mm-hmm.
don't feel you, he don't feel you, like
Yep.
whatsoever. My daughter's the same way, but she's polite, but she's snarky. And my if you knew my child, Jaden is like perfect child. She's super sweet. She's super nice. But you will only hear her be sarcastic or snarky if she really doesn't like you or she's feeling something off about you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Shout out to Jaden though. I love
Yes,
her.
definitely shout out to Jaden. Best kid ever.
Little, let's rinse our mouth out because talking about your children and then this next question is much. Do you care how many sexual partners your significant other has been with? No, what's in the past is the past. And no, as long as they get tested for sexually transmitted infections and are honest about it with me, yes, I would want to be the first and only person they are intimate with, girl.
This is the year of our Lord 2017, and we are in our
Listen,
30s.
listen. Yes, I want them to have some experience before we hook up. Yes, if their number is something I'd consider high, I don't even think about it, to be honest. I don't think about it, to be honest.
I don't think
I mean,
about the
that's my
number, I
literal
think about the
answer.
status. I need
You know
you.
what? You're right. I would say though, but it doesn't matter if I mean you could tell me you a virgin. I'm gonna be like, okay, so when we go to the doctor, they gonna have this needle right for that arm. All right, make sure you drink some water before we go.
Because they're going to need that blood.
Yeah, don't have your veins playing hide and go the fuck seek when we get up there. They're gonna have to do a little prick, and that's just, it is what it is. So yeah, I think
It
we're in
is super
agreement
what it
there.
is. And it's funny
Show
because,
me the dick facts.
yes,
Show me the pussy
I need
facts.
the big fact.
Show
it's
me the
not
mouth facts.
it's not uncomfortable to ask anymore. I
It
keep
shouldn't
my
be.
results. They make it very easy for you. Most doctors have web portals that you can log on to and get your most recent test
Yep.
results.
Yep.
I go to the doctor for checkups and other health reasons about every 6 months. I have a great relationship with my doctor. If you don't have insurance, then you can go right down to the free clinic and get you right fixed up. I mean, it's not hard to get tested these days. And I feel like if you don't want to get tested when I bring that conversation to you, then you really don't want this pussy. Like, I can't do it. I sexually
Yeah.
transmitted, I work in research and I know how pervasive these diseases are. And the people who are getting infected are the people who are too scared to step up and ask, hey,
Right.
um, have you been tested? Because I mean,
Right.
I feel like I shouldn't have this conversation about looking safe or whatever. You can put lipstick on a pig all day. It might be cute, but it's still a pig. Like and I'm not trying to put that negative connotation on STIs because God knows there's too much shame surrounding them. But we got to at least be comfortable. Like, hey, I want to make sure that you don't have any STIs before I
Right.
place my
Right.
golden pussy on you.
Right. We can sum all that up with saying if you, number one, don't be afraid to ask. And number two, if they fly off the handle when you ask,
They
move
burning.
on to the next. All right. So, speaking of moving on to the next, how do you know when to bring someone home to meet your family?
Oh
What?
Lord.
Yuck. Once you,
Not yuck though.
yuck as fuck. Once you're in an exclusive relationship, once you've been together for about a year, once you've had sex, girl, once you've decided to get engaged, if your family is in town and it's convenient, you just know, okay, I don't ever have them meet my family. Me. That's me. No, don't meet my family. Yuck.
It's kind of
I mean, but I don't meet my
different
family.
for
Let
me.
me rephrase that
Okay.
because I need to factor in my friends because my friends are my family. I would say exclusive is not the right word. Maybe I would say serious. Like if I'm seriously committed to you, like and we are in this relationship, we worked out all the kinks, we've defined what kind of relationship we are in. We are not going into it assuming everything is going to be a monogamous regular relationship. Those conversations will be had. And once we commit to each other and I feel that you feel the same way and you're not just going through the motions, then I would feel safe introducing you to my family, aka my very close friends who got me through thick and thin. Thank you for being friends.
Amen.
Okay.
Really.
What was your answer?
My
I
answer
missed it.
is it's different for me because I have kids. And I
Mm-hmm.
consider my kids, my family, like that's my immediate family. It's me and my children. Then it's, parents, cousins, uncles, and stuff like that. Um, I guess me being 33, I don't want to introduce anybody to my parents, right? Like ever. Um,
Ever.
I'm at the point now, like I could probably be married and like then my mama might meet you at a cookout. I don't feel like hearing their mouth. Like my family is very vocal, they're very open. And I don't feel like fucking explaining my family to you. Like I feel like my family needs to come with an explanation. Listen, my mama is kind of, you
Come
know
on,
what I'm
instruction
saying? Like
manual.
I
Yeah.
need it's a lot. I mean, my kids, if we're just narrowing it down to the kids, I feel like if I felt like we were serious and moving towards something very serious, I would introduce you to
Mm-hmm.
my kids in the capacity of you being a friend of mine, not in a relationship capacity whatsoever. And I don't think I would ever introduce anybody else into a relationship, to my kids unless I was seriously like had a ring on my finger.
Right. Put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it, then maybe.
Would you ever stay with a significant other if they cheated on you? Yes, everyone makes mistakes. Maybe if it was the first time it ever happened, not sure, but I'd at least hear them out. Never, it'd be instantly over for me. I feel like it would be over for me because, again, in the talks had before getting into the relationship, like I'm not even I don't even see myself in a traditional relationship. Let me put that out there. So if we have a non-traditional relationship, meaning that there's probably a lot that you can do that I won't care about, and you still find a way to violate something to make me feel like you've cheated on me after we've done all of this work building up this structure. It's over, dog.
Well,
Like, I wouldn't be able to trust. It's hard for me to trust to begin with. So if you break my trust in this manner, I wouldn't have much left. But what say
I
you?
say that I'd at least hear them out. I'm not committing either way. And I guess it's because I've been in
Mm-hmm.
relationships where I have a little bit more to lose if I just walked out, you know? And it could have been something like, not
Mm-hmm.
saying that cheating is ever excusable, but God knows it could have been me cheating. You know? Maybe it was, I would try to get the other person the same kind of grace I would want. But I got to hear something really good. So I say that
I don't
I'd say
know.
I
I
just
wouldn't be
at
trying to
least
hear it.
hear them out.
If I find out you cheating, if I walk in on you cheating, it's gonna be
If I
good.
walk in on you cheating, I'm gonna stab you.
It's 2 hours. Either you can go or I
Well,
can go, but somebody got to go. Anyway, would any of these excuses, speaking of needing to hear something good, be enough to stay with someone who cheated on you? Excuse number one: I was drunk or blacked out. It was a one-time thing, I promise. It took messing up to learn my lesson. Oh shit, bitch. It was purely physical. The person means nothing to me. That's your typical Caucasian answer. It felt like you were distant and I acted out for attention. That's the nigga answer. We hadn't been intimate in so long and it felt like you didn't want to be with me anymore. Now that's the
well,
universal answer. Potentially a few, some of the above, none of the above, it's over. So I'm going to let you go first
I'm
this
gonna
time.
say that I don't like excuses, so none of these would be. But it wouldn't be none of the above. It's over. It would have to be like, let's not give excuses. Let's own up to what you did, and let's talk about accountability, and let's talk
Accountability.
about how we're gonna move past it. So the excuses are not a thing for me.
Yep. I agree. What is your take on being in a relationship with multiple people at the same time? And I'm assuming they mean full-fledged relationship and not just dating. As long as they know about each other, it's cool. As long as they don't know about each other, it's cool. I think it's totally normal to be in a relationship and have someone on the side. Relationships are meant to be between two people only. Okay. You should do whatever makes you happy as long as everyone is consenting. Guess
Um,
first on this one.
I'm trying to understand the question. They mean something like poly, or they mean something like I got my main and then I got my sides.
It
Cause
just says relationship.
okay, well, I'm gonna give two answers. As long as they know about each other, it's cool if I'm dating two people. Like I'm not in a relationship with,
No, 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 no. The
but it
question is
says being in a
specifically
relationship
to,
with multiple.
yeah.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and say, not for me. Um, I think I'm not. Well, I guess you should do whatever makes you happy as long as everyone is consenting. But it's for me, that's a no.
I'm gonna say yeah. As long as everything is out in the open, because again, I don't see myself in a traditional relationship anyway. So although I'm not about that triad shit, like for me, like if you want to have two boyfriends and I'm one of them, okay, cool. But don't bring a boyfriend to me because I don't know her.
I don't know her.
Do you believe that everyone has one soulmate? Yes, absolutely. There's someone out there for everyone. No, I think there are multiple soulmates out there for everyone. No, soulmates are not a thing. Oh, boo, you whore. I don't really know, but I hope so. I think there are multiple soulmates
I
out there
agree.
for everyone. And I don't think it I don't because I don't think a soulmate is necessarily romantic. I mean, I guess if you lucky or whatever and you favored by Cupid or whatever, I mean, I guess if one of your soulmates happened to be your partner, that would be ideal. I mean, I guess if that's the kind of shit that you into, all right?
I feel like the older I get, the less my significant others are my soulmates. I feel like you're my soulmate. I feel like my friend April's my soulmate. I feel like the people you have soul ties with, who know you in and out, who really protect your
Uh-huh.
heart, those are my soulmates. I don't think I would give that to a significant other.
Right.
So I'm gonna say
Yeah.
multiple
I
soulmates
should
out
say
there for
there's multiple.
everyone, and I don't think it's
Yeah.
necessarily a
Okay.
romantic thing either.
Okay, last question. What do you think is the most important thing in a relationship? Sex, trust,
Yes.
respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, love, wealth, aka money, the shmoney, same sense of humor, same values or interests. What do you say? Because
I would say respect, but honey, I'm 33 years old, starting over. I'm gonna go with my girl Cardi B. I'm all about that money. I ain't trying to be broke no more. I ain't trying to date nobody for no love while I'm sitting here broke. I would say, you know what? No, I feel like if I pick respect, it encompasses everything. If I say respect is important to me, everything is gonna fall into respect, except maybe like the same sense of humor. But because you can't respect me and be broke, because you being disrespectful to me.
I don't know. I feel like I don't have enough relationship experience to know what the most important thing in one is.
Well, just pick like okay, based off of your
You
experience
know
that
what? I
you
take that
have.
back. I'm gonna say trust.
You're right. You're right. There you go.
To me, at this particular point in my life, I think trust is probably the most important thing
I think it's
in
the
a
most
relationship.
fleeting thing. That is
Well,
what I
yeah,
have the most problem with is the whole trust thing.
right.
You
Well,
know,
that's what I say. Because it's so hard for me to trust. If you gain my trust, I feel like that's
right.
probably the most important thing in the relationship because my trust will give you a lot of leeway on
Right.
stuff. And if my trust is important in the or trust in the relationship is important, I feel like the rest of these will fall somewhere in the spectrum. So,
Okay.
with that being said, that is going to wrap up the main discussion of this episode. Now, we are going to move on to the DASSA Man segment with Songbird. We are back for another iteration of DASSA Man. I have the lovely Songbird with me once again. Thank you so much for
Hello,
joining me.
guys.
It's so much fun having you on the show.
I love being on the show. It's like the highlight of my month every single month. So,
Yes, let's get into it. So, who do you have for us this month?
this month I have Joseph Sikora, who everybody knows as Tommy from Power.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Sikora is 41 years old. He's
Oh,
5'11". He's from Chicago, Illinois, and he is not Irish, which I thought he was. He is Polish. And like I said, everybody knows him from Power. He also has been on episodes of SVU, Grey's Anatomy, The Good Wife, Chicago PD, and a whole bunch of other TV shows that he just had, like, little small roles in.
mm-hmm.
And in movies, he was in Shutter Island with Leonardo DiCaprio, which I don't remember seeing him in that movie.
Me
I saw that
neither.
movie a long time ago.
Me too.
Um, Jack Reacher, which I think that just came out. Like, that's a newer movie that I
Yeah, I
don't
feel like
think
that came out this year.
yeah. And then he was also in My Best Friend's Wedding. Now, I have to admit that I thought the only reason why I found him attractive was because of his role on Power.
We
Because
know you
Tommy is
like
such a lunatic.
we know you like a bad boy.
You know, that is my downfall. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, that's probably it. I probably wouldn't find him attractive outside of that role. But then I saw him do an interview. I think they were on the Breakfast Club, like the whole cast of Power. And his presence is just it's extremely like commanding. I was like, okay.
Mm.
Well, it's not just Tommy. He is a very handsome person, like the whole package. Like you look at him and it's not like, oh, he's cute. But once he starts to talk and speak and the way he carries himself, he's a very attractive dude.
Mm.
And so just based on that one episode with him and Holly, when he was slobbering and all of that, yes, I would allow him to violate every hole I have.
Triple
Amen.
hole.
All of them. Amen.
Amen. So here's the thing. I have said this because I was late on Power, but I caught up and I watched season 4. Although I just realized that I forgot to watch the season finale, and now my stars has expired. Oh well. Trash. Trash. They and you know what? When TV shows skip a week or they move days, that's how they lose me. Like,
yeah,
I'm already an inconsistent person. Right. I'm already an inconsistent person. So if my shit that's coming on TV is inconsistent, well, good luck, everybody. But anyway, with Joseph Sikora, like, I don't think he's ugly, but I cannot look at him and not see Cate Blanchett.
Ooh,
I just
you
can't.
have completely just destroyed him for me. Oh my god, you just completely killed that. I'm so sorry. Just forget everything I just said. Oh my god. Why would you tell me that? Every time I watch Power, I'm gonna see Cate Blanchett shooting niggas in the face.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. Oh God, I am so sorry. I should have kept that to myself. Oh.
Let the air out of my little balloon. I'm just trying to tell you.
I'm so sorry. Watch that interview again. I think you'll recapture the magic.
Okay.
Okay, so my pick for this month is The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I feel like it's only right to talk about him. He's been in the news a lot. We know he has a new movie coming out sometime next year or the year after, whatever. Someone has had his name in their mouth on Instagram constantly. Yeah. But anyway, the rundown. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He is 45 years old, 6'5", 260 solid pounds. Born in Hayward, California. Now, you might know him from the WWF or WWE now, Lawsuit Girl. You might know him from the Scorpion King, from The Money Returns.
Definitely.
You might know him from a movie called The Rundown with Sean, whatever his name, from American Pie. This is like a very obscure reference, but you might know him from a movie called Fast Five.
Fast Five? I never heard of that.
And apparently it's like a franchise, and he's been in all of the movies since Fast Five. Fast and the Furious? Yeah. Wait, I thought you were playing along. What is happening?
Bitch, I know you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I thought you were playing along.
I absolutely know that movie. Okay.
Maybe just didn't know it was called Fast Five. I'm not sure if that's the actual name of it. I don't know. I think it is. But anyway, like I said, he has a Hobbs movie, because that's his character from the Fast and the Furious franchise. Tyrese, girl, you can stay mad. You need to be worried about your court cases and less about Dwayne. You might also know The Rock.
A good therapist. I need a Yanla to get in contact with him, because at least that would make good TV.
Well, okay, I'll give you that. But no, actually, no. No. But he's already jacked up enough, and Chain Chomp Van Zon is not going to help.
Oh my God.
You might also know The Rock from Ballers on HBO, which came on after Insecure, I believe.
Yeah,
or before Insecure.
I don't watch the show.
Sorry, I have never seen it. I had been meaning to watch it, but I forgot.
I might have watched one episode. It didn't keep me at all, but he was amazing in the suit.
Because it came on after Game of Thrones and before Insecure, and it's like that time between Game of Thrones and Insecure, you needed that time to decompress, because Game of Thrones was a lot and then Insecure was a lot. But I want to watch it. And he's been in plenty of other movies. You know The Rock. So what can I say about him? He is tall. He is handsome. He is charismatic. He is muscular. He is talented. He's shady when he wants to be.
Yes, he is.
I don't have a set type of man that I'm attracted to. Like when people ask me, what's your type? I'm like, I don't really have one. However, The Rock definitely fits what first comes to mind when I think about what my dream guy would be.
Yes.
So
and how tall did you say he is?
6'5". So why wouldn't he be on this list? Why wouldn't he?
Of course he would be on this list. I would probably have questions if he wasn't.
Listen, shit, we probably should have covered him earlier, but whatever. So listen.
I'm working my way through my list. I think that I'm saving the best for last.
Oh, I'm just kind of randomly picking them depending on how I feel. Speaking of how I feel, The Rock's face, especially with this salt and pepper beard situation he has on.
Yes. And
when
the
I
bald
tell
head,
you
I
that is
appreciate
a seat, that is a seat. All right?
Yes, it
that
is.
body is a wonderland. Okay?
Oh, Lord. Lord. But
stay with
yeah,
me.
I would do horrible things to The Rock.
Oh, horrible, good, and everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to smell what The Rock's dick smell like, okay? And he can definitely lay the smacketh down on me anytime. Listen, that's like a 3 times on Sunday type of deal.
Mm-hmm. That's a please don't call my phone all weekend.
That's a keep a 8-pack of Gatorade on the nightstand.
Yeah.
Because listen, because I mean you have to think about it because that is a big ass athletic man. All right, you have to stay ready.
What is his nationality or whatever? I don't know the PC term to call it. Nobody coming at me. I thought, isn't he like what? He has a tattoo. What is he?
So his father is Canadian and a black Nova Scotian, and his mother is of Samoan descent.
Okay, I knew it was something to do with that. I remember him doing an interview and talking about his tattoo. So
listen, but like I said, you got to keep that water and that Gatorade by the bedside table because he is not only is he a big ass muscular athletic man. He used to be a wrestler.
Yes.
I mean, technically, I guess he still is a wrestler. So you got to stay ready. All right.
Yeah, I don't see him going back to that though.
I think every now and then he pops his face in, but like to me, and I could be wrong, but I feel like he single-handedly transformed the popularity of WWF because I don't remember there are some iconic wrestlers, but I don't remember any of them pulling in the audience and the draw that The Rock did. We haven't seen any other wrestler transition to acting and whatnot the way he has. Like, he is a household mainstream actor.
Definitely.
You know, like a lot of them, Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Cena, they act, they do their movies, but they're D-list.
Yes,
movies.
At best.
They're not big screen usually. They might have one or two. The Rock commands a movie, he commands a paycheck, and he can command this pussy, all right?
Oh, hallelujah.
Amen. So, with that being said, that concludes this month's segment of DASSA MAN. Again, Sawngbyrd, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I think for a special treat for November, we're actually going to do an entire episode of DASSA MAN instead of just a segment. So, you guys be on the lookout for that, and feel free to send us suggestions for our lists. Unfortunately, we've had to remove some people from the list. Jason Momoa, R.I.P. girl, because no. And
I ain't giving him nothing else but a
Exactly. So, we will be back for a full episode next month, you guys. And now, let's get back to the show. All right, and we are back. It is me, Trillificent. We are with Bre, a.k.a. Mrs. Bre, a.k.a. Bre-tastical, a.k.a. Titty Goddess.
A.k.a. J&J's mama. That's why I got all these titties.
Mm-hmm.
I had them before, though, to be
So, let's wrap the show up with the queer query.
Question.
Now you guys will get to see another side of Bre. Now, this is going to be a rapid fire. I did this last week and I liked it. So, rapid fire, 1 word answer, the first word that comes to mind.
All right.
Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Sex.
That was the answer. That was it.
Oh, girl. You are trash. I like that. Okay. Next, white.
Trash.
Melanin.
Goddess.
Tribe.
Y'all.
Twitter.
Entertainment.
Pew, 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 pew. Next question. What's one of your most embarrassing moments from high school? Now, I was listening to the Friend Zone and they were talking about embarrassing moments. That's where I got the inspiration for this. They said something about high school and it brought to mind a specific story, but I want to hear yours first
Oh
from high
gosh, this
school.
stands out to me. I will never forget. Um, I was in high school with mostly white people, so all the black people were super tight, super close knit because it was only like maybe 12 of us there.
Come on, unfriendly black
So
hotties.
we basically unfriendly black hotties. Our dating pool is super duper small because ain't but so many of us. So the hallway that I had like first period on was also like the special needs hallway. So those were the special needs kids that were in high school. That was their hallway, but like further down the hallway, that's where my classes were. There was this boy named Craig Mack. Lie to you not. His name was Craig
Mm.
Mack. He bought me a flower every day. I was a freshman. He bought me a flower
But did
every
he put the
day.
flavor in your ear?
No, he did
Time for new
not.
flavor in your ear.
Okay, so he was a little bit slow, but not like, he was in special classes, I think, because of behavior. I don't think it was because, he had development or delays or issues. He used to bring me a flower every day. And he would like leave it in my locker. And I remember when it came down to like the first real dance in high school, I wanted this guy to ask me that I'd kind of been, well, he was the quarterback of the football team, but we lived in the same neighborhood, but our relationship was on the low, which really meant I was too lame for him to, parade around school with. But, he would always come hang out at my house or vice versa after school. Um, I wanted him
Mm.
to ask me so bad. So on the day, we designated one day for everybody to like get a date for the dance. Honey, I put on my best chunky heels, honey, like body dress. You remember the body dresses with the slits on the side?
Yeah.
With my pump in the back of my hair. Convinced my mama to let me get one of them hard, crunchy hairdos. Here come Craig Mack fucking it up. Gabrielle, I really want to go to the dance with you. I'm trying to go to the dance, but it wasn't like he just asked me, Kurt. Like it was like he had a whole dance routine he had made up. So imagine, I'm standing in front of my locker. Craig Mack is doing his whole dance routine. He's got on like this chopper suit. Everybody's crowded around. They're laughing at me and him so bad. And my face is red. And I just
Oh.
start crying. Poor Craig Mack, because it wasn't about him. I was just super embarrassed that he asked me like that. And the
Oh.
dude I wanted to ask me didn't ask me. And then at the end, I got so mad, like I pushed him down.
This sounds like something straight out of a goddamn movie.
Well, I felt like I wanted the attention, but I didn't want it from him. I was so embarrassed. Like, here come the dude in remedial classes asking me if I want to go to the dance. Like, you know how that is.
Oh. And you were in high school. Yeah, I get it. My most embarrassing moment from high school, I feel like I might have told this story on the show before, but whatever. I'm going to tell it again. My high school had disgusting lunch. So it was like what do they call it? The hot lunch, like the
Yeah.
school sponsored lunch, I guess, or whatever. The lunch lady specials. And then we had like an a la carte line where you could get Hot Pockets
Pizza.
and
Hmm.
pizza. Chick-fil-A was on like Fridays or something like that.
Did we all go to the same high school? I feel like we have so many of the same experiences with stuff like that.
Listen, it was across the board. But the problem was when you get out of your classes, like the line to the a la carte line was so long, if you didn't get there early enough, you would literally spend your whole lunch break in the line. So we used to run to the line when we got out of our class. Like whatever class I had last, I either was taking my stuff with me or I was hitting the locker real quick. But I think I was usually I would pack light to that class because I knew what time it was. I had to put on my good shoes and sonic the fuck out of that classroom, get to that a la carte line because I did not want to be stuck eating mystery meatloaf. That was not what I was about. So on one fine morning, I get up and I do my Usain Bolt right out of that room. And I'm running and I'm like, okay, I'm laughing because it's a big group of us running. And out of nowhere, my legs
Oh,
say,
Lord.
we are on break. And when I tell y'all my legs, Like, I felt them turn into noodles. They just completely gave out on me. And I fell on my stomach. And because I was running so fast, I slid across the floor because I happened to be on one part. We were running by the front office, and there's tile there. Like a lot of other floors, it was like that industrial grade carpet. So I just so happened to fall at a great velocity on the tiles on my belly and slid across the floor. And then to make it worse, there was some commotion because I guess one of the teachers saw me fall. And she was like, she screamed. And so then you can hear somebody else say, "What happened?" And then the teacher screams, "Somebody fell!" And I was like, what the fuck? But, you know, I was a fat ass and I was hungry. So I took it in stride and I got my ass up.
Gotta move it.
Now, I did downgrade from Sonic to Tails as far as my speed is concerned.
Lost all your rings.
Nigga, my rings was gone. Golly. So that was one of my most embarrassing moments in high school. Last question. If Bre from 10 years in the future called you right now asking for advice, what would you tell her?
So the future me called me asking for advice?
Yes.
Bitch, I don't know what to tell you. Bitch, you supposed to be doing better than me.
Well, that's why they're calling you. They're calling you because they want to make sure that they're making the right decisions and they just want your advice.
Go with your first mind. Like, stop letting these niggas fool you into thinking your intuition is wrong. Your gut has never been wrong. Protect your energy and protect yourself. And keep it cute and keep it the fuck moving. And don't cut your hair again, girl. What the hell are you thinking about?
Let's see. If Future Curtis called me and was asking me for advice, first thing I would ask is, bitch, how is this possible?
You're such a realist.
But I think that I would say invest in you. Don't ever be afraid to invest in you. Don't ever be afraid of taking an action or taking a risk or changing something in your life and being worried about not being able to handle the outcome of that. Take risks, invest in yourself, and get some goddamn self-discipline.
Listen, I feel like your future you needs to call future me and be like, bitches, do we make it? Because the self-discipline thing is a huge thing. And I'm starting to realize it's not just like diet and stuff like that. It's just other saving. Oh, God.
Absolutely. It applies in so many different places. So, with that being said, you guys, that concludes this episode of Gayside Stories with Trillificent and special guest Bre. Please tell people where they can find you one more time.
You can find me on Twitter. I'm mostly active. It's @_Mrs. Bre, MRSBRE. I am on Instagram as Bre Tastical, BRETASTICAL. I'm on Tumblr too, but I'm not on there as much. But I do love my Tumblr. But I can't remember. I think it's Miss Brianna, BREYONNA, MISSBREYONNA. Please, I would love feedback. I love hearing from new people. I love meeting new people. I'm native to North Carolina. I live in the Raleigh-Durham area. So please reach out to me. It has been a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you so much for inviting me. You're the best ever.
No, thank you for coming. I have fun.
I had so much fun.
So shout out to you.
I feel like this was like a regular conversation that we'd be having anyway.
Pretty much. But with that being said, you guys remember GaysideStories.com is the hub for more information about me, my guests, the show, all of that good stuff. You can email me at GaysideStories@gmail.com if you just want to say hi, if you're interested in being on the show, if you want me to be on your show, because I be bumping these gums. I be making the rounds. Follow and interact on social media. It's at Gayside Stories on Instagram and Twitter. And there's also a Facebook page. Please, if you feel so inclined, go and like the Facebook page. Make sure that you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. I am on a plethora of platforms. Come on, alliteration. That's my shit. So make sure you're subscribing. Take a moment out and rate on Apple Podcasts. if you so please, one more time. And if I remember, and if they're nice, and if they're 5 stars, I might read them on the show. You never know. If I start getting a lot, that may be something that I do on a regular basis.
I'd like
You
to
never
hear that.
know. You never know. Also, guys, make sure that you are sharing this show with others. I am so very appreciative to everyone who retweets and who reshares on Facebook. Whatever you do to help get the word out for this show, I appreciate you. You are the real MVP. Make sure you're checking out the Sounds of the Stories playlist. That should be getting updated soon. Check out the pod panel. It's under the John Effect umbrella on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. You can find me over there. Check out Ratchet Ramblings. You will be able to hear me on the latest episode talking about the Love and Hip Hop Hollywood reunions part 1 and 2 and the last 2 episodes of Black Ink Crew Chicago. Again, thank you for listening. You don't have to listen to me and my guests and my friends bump these gums and talk out the side of our necks, but you do. I am very, very happy that there's so many of you that are pleased with this show. I am one of those type of people that I am my own worst critic, and sometimes it's hard for me to see the good of the show. I like doing the show. I enjoy it. I hope that I can be able to continue to do it, maybe get a bigger brand, all of that good stuff. But at the same time, I'm very hard on myself, and I'm looking at it like, I don't know why anybody listens to this show. But y'all do. I love you. Please say hi. You can tweet along as you're listening to the show, all of that good stuff. I try my best to interact. Last, but certainly not least, remember the lost commandment. Thou shalt protect thy walls, and that's any kind of walls you have in your life, or they will crumble. Y'all remember that. And we're out of here. Bye guys.